Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Pluto conjunct one's natal Saturn. Now, when we have transits that involve Pluto, they can be about transformation, power, obsession, fixation, control. And when you have transit Pluto conjoin one's natal Saturn, well, this can manifest in transformation. Power, obsession, fixation, control. It can be on one's fears. It can be controlling, trying to control a fear of something. If it's, say, if you have this like a gem, say if you have a Gemini or third house, it could be with communication or 10th house. It might be something with notoriety. Um, can also be. I mean, you could also be at this time uh, try to transform what your limitations are, or I should say control your limitations, do something, maybe gain power over them, over your limitations and restrictions. If you have this in the 12th house, it could be over the fear or some trepidation of the unknown. Maybe you're trying to gain power over that. Can also be a time too where Saturn can be connected with the father. So you might have at this time it could be power struggles with this person. Maybe you're trying to transform your own father at this time somehow, maybe for the better in a lot of instances. And also too, I mean, Saturn is connected with old age and aging. It might be a time when you might be maybe obsessed, could be with a fear of aging, or you're trying to gain power over this. You might be trying to reverse the aging process. It can be a time too where you might be trying at this time as well. Saturn can be connected with structure and discipline. You might be trying to gain control in terms of having a structure and discipline in your life. In the fourth house, it could be, or the zodiac sign Cancer, it can be your home life at this time, or maybe being obsessed or fixated with getting this. Um, as far as structure and discipline in the home life, it could be a time too when you have this transit. It could be also being obsessed with responsibilities at this time. You might be in like a workaholic type of phase, and it may be something too. I mean, since Pluto's transformation, it might be a time where your responsibilities might be completely transformed at this time, more so than usual. And looking at this as well, you might also be very fixated with laborious work at this time. Again, it could be perhaps like a workaholic type of transit. But at the same time, too, Pluto can be connected with surgery. There might be some surgery that may be connected with a chronic debilitation you may be going through. Um, it could be trauma you might experience to the bones, the knees, the joints, or hamstrings, or teeth, or it might even be a surgical procedure connected with one of the things I mentioned. I don't know if you call surgery surgery on teeth applies, but there can be some trauma connected with that at this time. Sometimes this could manifest in the death of an older person, could be a father, could be a grandparent, could be an older person that is simply figured prominently in your life scheme. And you might even be compulsively keeping track of time at this particular time, no pun intended, of course. Um, it's interesting because I have Saturn conjunct my ascendant. Somebody had said to me one time, am I a compulsive clock watcher? I thought it was really funny. And it might be a time too where you might be very fixated on attaining success in your life, your career, maybe improving your stature in life. at this time, or even attaining a position of authority, or there simply could be power struggles with authority figures such as a superior or supervisor if you're in a subordinate or subservient role at your position. Um, so anyway, well, this could also be a time, again, going back to the fixation and obsession. It could be a time where you may strongly be fixated or obsessed uh, on your work at this time or your career. Say if this falls in Aquarius as an example, it could be some kind of career. It could be in astrology or astronomy, aerospace, rocket science, something with computers, electronics, or innovation. And at this time as well, remember that Pluto is connected with support, which can be moral, emotional support, monetary support. There might be issues with these that might be causing you to feel somewhat melancholy or despondent at this time. It could be the lack of these issues, the lack of that support may be causing it at this time. And it might be a time too where also as well, I mean, Pluto is connected with deep research. And the fact it's contacting Saturn, it can be deep research maybe into an older person, like a father, grandfather, someone older that's prominent in your life. It could be into a business. Now let's say if it falls in Sagittarius as an example, maybe it's trying to uncover maybe false advertising or publishing, and that might be unveiled when doing so. Remember, Pluto is about secrets as well. You might find that a father, a grandparent, older person might be coming across a little bit more mysterious, more secretive than usual. It could be a time too where you might be embroiled in power struggles with authority figures. Say if it's in Capricorn, it could be somebody that's a rather tyrannical or cold or undemonstrative authority figure. And another thing too, say if it's in Taurus as another example, it could be an authority figure that's very, it could be somebody that's very obstinate, and it could be very persistent power struggles, ones that are more enduring. Now Pluto is also about destruction, so it can be a time where you might have an opportunity to obliterate fear at this time. And say if it's an Aquarius in the 10th house as an example, it could be maybe there's a fear of bringing something innovative out in order to gain notoriety. There could be something where maybe you've been hesitant or reluctant to do so because there's some fear of some kind of ridicule or criticism, and maybe that your idea won't be accepted. Uh, Keep in mind too, Pluto can also be connected with kidnapping, coercion, bullying. It could be where a father, a grandparent, older person that's prominent in your life might be experiencing this right now. It could be a time too. I mean, keep in mind that again, Pluto can be connected with surgery. So it might be a time too where you might find there could be a greater propensity for surgery on something Saturn related, something with the knees, the bones, the joints, the skin. It could be on a hamstring. Uh, it could also be a time too where death may occur due to chronic debilitation. Remember that Pluto is associated with death. Saturn is associated with chronic debilitation. Say this falls in Aries as an example. It could be something with skin cancer, or maybe something with the face, or skin cancer. It might be on the face, or it could even be brain cancer. Remember that the face and the brain are associated with Aries. And not to be overly morbid or morose, it could also manifest in some isolated cases as the death of a father. It could be an older person, maybe even an authority figure at this time. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now in some cases it could simply mean putting to death really negative or very pessimistic outlook. For example, I mean, Pluto can be about obliteration, destruction. Saturn can be very negative energy. So it might be a time where you're trying to obliterate things, something that might be negative in your life. If there's some, say if it's in your third house as an example, it could be something with a situation with neighbors or siblings or cousins as an example. And keep in mind that conjunctions in astrology can be neutral. This could manifest either good or bad, and they have a combination of good and bad things, and a lot of this could be predicated and dependent on aspects that this makes to points in your chart. If it makes, really predominantly positive aspects, it may be manifested in a more positive manner. But if it makes a lot of negative adverse aspects, it can be more negative. But a lot of it depends on the aspects that this makes to other points in your natal chart. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying